सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। शांति शांति शांति। Welcome to another session. Can you hear me and see me properly? Just let me know. Yes, okay, perfect. Yeah. There seems to be some issue on Instagram. I mean, not on Instagram, but some issue in configuration. It's not, we are not streaming live on Instagram today. Let me put my phone on airplane mode. That is fine. Let's just begin with our weekly sit, and then we'll see if we have any questions that we want to discuss. We can see afterwards, but let's begin with our sit. Make yourself comfortable. Make sure your spine is unsupported and straight. If you're sitting on floor or on bed, keep your legs crossed. If you're sitting on a chair, make sure your feet are flat on the ground and you scoop yourself to the front edge of the chair, making sure that your back is unsupported and straight, yet relaxed. Find your comfortable posture. Rock yourself sideways, front and back. Make yourself fully grounded. You can remove your specs. Close your eyes. Keep your hands on your thighs, palms open and facing upwards. Let's begin with a couple of deep breaths. Inhale, and as you exhale, relax. Inhale one more time, and as you exhale, relax even more. Inhale one more time. And as you exhale, relax completely into this one. Let your breathing flow naturally. Simply observe.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Rub your palm against each other, generate some warmth. Cup your eyes with your palm and slowly open your eyes. So, I have a couple of questions that I have collected from several sources. Some I received on my DM, some I received on my WhatsApp. So, I have like a list of questions with me, but let's look at two of them today, and then in subsequent sessions we will look at the other questions, what they are and what the answers could be. So the first one that I have is, someone has asked, why can't I stop overthinking no matter what I try? Why can't I stop overthinking no matter what I try? So, no matter what I try, part of the question is there to help us know that the person has tried everything already, right? And when they have already tried everything, what else can we suggest to them? So, the reality is that they might have tried a lot of things which didn't work for them, and they cannot think of other things that they still can give a try. So, looks like they have consumed, they have
run out of options, right? That's why this second part of the sentence. But the first part, why can't I stop overthinking? That has a very particular reason as to why people fail or struggle to keep their mind in the right space and stop overthinking, right? All of our problems, seeming problems that we think we have, right? All of this stem from one thing, and that is our sense of identity, our ego. But ego is not directly responsible for all of these problems. It stems into many other faculties. The ego supports, or the identity supports, other functions. Another function that the identity or ego supports is likes and dislikes, what we like and what we don't like, right? And when we get into this cycle of liking something and trying to get it, not getting it, and disliking the feeling of not getting it, or getting it and then strengthening the feeling of liking it, this cycle keeps creating what we call impressions in our minds. Mind is, the word mind I have used here is a very loose term. In actual Sanskrit literature, it has been divided into 4 categories, where manas, the thinking faculty, is one. Then there is chit, the ground of consciousness. Then there is buddhi, intellect. And then there is ahankar, or the I factor, the identity factor. So when we say samskar, or the impressions, when we loosely translate everything in English, we have to say that it creates impressions on our mind. But if we put it in actual scriptural language, it says, on chitta, these impressions or samskars are formed, not on the mind, not on the thinking faculty. So thinking faculty is a different thing, and where all of these impressions are stored is a different location. We can call it, say, synonymous to, say, memory. So this is responsible for all the thoughts that arise within you. And as long as this is there, impressions from past activities, past likes, dislikes, affection, disgust, all of this. Okay. As long as these impressions are there, they keep bubbling up in the form of thoughts. That is the reason why you cannot stop overthinking. So you have to clear this bank of impressions that you have gained throughout these years. And how do you do that? You do that by 2 ways. One is by stopping to create newer impressions, and by trying to regularly clean what is remaining. So how do you stop creating new impressions? By engaging in actions without being attached to the result. That means without having a preference over what the result must be. Result can be anything. You always drive your action in a direction where you get the result that is favorable to you, but not obsessing over what the result can be. Just plan get into the action, and then accept the fate, accept what comes next. If your plan is sound, if your actions are on point, the results will always fall in place. But not obsessing over result is how you stop creating new impressions. And how do you clean what is already there? That is through meditation. Sitting in silence, sitting with yourself, letting those bubble up without making any judgment, because the moment you make another set of judgments, another set of impressions get formed. So letting them bubble without judgment, letting them pass, is how they get cleaned up. So these are the two ways. So that is the main reason why you can't stop overthinking. And no matter what you try, drop that, because the longer you stay in the mindset that you have tried everything, you won't be able to give a fair try to any other method. So drop that part and try to establish yourself in karma yoga, which is engaging into actions without obsessing over results. I'm not saying without planning for the result, without, that would be doing action without any direction. Your actions should have some directions, right? But not obsessing over it means not, once the work is done, not keeping it in a replay mode, in a loop in your mind, obsessing over what did I do wrong, what did I do right, why did it not happen, why did this happen? It must have happened that way, I did everything right, not taking responsibility, just thinking about what the outcome should be, what the outcome should have been. Once something is done, once something is in the past, let it pass. Plan for the next step and then engage into that. That's karma yoga. That is what you have to try next. And then try to sit still, let this, whatever is coming up, bubble up, let it pass without judgment. And you will see, slowly, mind will settle, because that bank of impressions is slowly reduced, and then your sessions will be much more peaceful, I should say, or your day-to-day life will be more in line with how you want it to be, instead of you being pushed and pulled through unnecessary thoughts in whatever you do. That is something that you can try. Another one says, why do I feel empty even when my life looks perfect on paper? Why do I feel empty even when my life looks perfect on paper? Why do I feel empty even when my life looks perfect on paper? Maybe because your life is designed to look perfect on paper and not to feel what should I say, wholesome, right? Maybe everything that you did so far was somehow a decision that was forced upon you by the society, by the conditioning that you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should get good education, then should get a good job, and then have a nice family. It's not that all of those things are bad, but the question is, did you consciously choose all of those for yourself? If yes, then this difference of it looks perfect on paper but doesn't feel right shouldn't be there. When when you make decisions for yourself, you take responsibility of all the decisions that you make. You accept it in whichever direction it may turn out, you accept it fully, whatever be the outcome of it. We say this, that if the rules are yours, then it doesn't feel like burden. But if the rules are set by somebody else, then it feels like someone is trying to discipline you, someone is trying to force things onto you. And if that is what you are feeling, then maybe it's time to look at whose rules have you been following so far, and what are your rules? What are the rules by which you want to live? So, a life which looks perfect on paper is a great blessing in itself, because if some basic things are taken care of, then you have the possibility to excel in areas where others might not have that luxury to explore, because basic things are taken care of. So don't look at it as the time that you have spent so far is wasted. Look at it as, well, knowingly or unknowingly you are at certain spot, which seems, because you describe it in a way that it is perfect on paper, which seems a good starting point to now finally take charge of your life and do whatever you want to do. Consciously make decisions, take full responsibility of what you decide, and just enjoy your decisions, enjoy the actions that you decide to take. So there are more questions that I have here, but we'll see those a couple of those in the next session. For today, if there is any question, you can type in the chat. If not, then I think this is almost time to wrap this up. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a lot of participation because we changed the timing of weekly group meditation from evening to morning hours in Indian Standard Time, which is completely opposite on the other side of the globe, where it's now at evening for a lot of people. And I understand that they are also feeling the same issue that I had when this was scheduled for evening time, India. That's what happens, because what happens is, earlier, before the advent of electricity, before we had ways to light up the whole city at night and keep going, we used to plan our days in such a way that everything should be done during daylight, when the sun was up. So mornings used to be busy hours, and by the time sun used to set, things used to slow down and people used to gather around the fire, to have that fireside chat, what we call, share stories of their day, their work, whatever. That used to be the time when people used to come together. And in morning hours, when the sun was up, they used to be busy with their own chores, their own business. But after we have got the ability to light up the whole city with bright halogen LED lights, things have changed. Now mornings are slow and evenings are full of rush. People have plans, people need to go out, people need to engage with their friends, families. So this is what was happening when I was with the whole time I was not able to be regular. So I asked people that if they would prefer to have it on Saturday or Sunday, but in morning hours. And I think people thought that they would be able to make it on Saturday, but I understand it is gonna be a little bit difficult. So we'll see. Maybe the audience will shift, and maybe more people from this side of the globe will start joining instead of the other side of the globe. But either way, these recordings are always available, so people all over the world can see in their own time. But this is yeah, usual stuff. I think this was very much anticipated. Okay, so let's close this session with this, and thank you again for joining. I'll see you guys in the next session. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti.